Serena Talbot was doing her usual Saturday morning housecleaning. Her husband Bill was at his regular Saturday morning golf game. She always saved the living room for last. They had moved into this old farmhouse a year and a half ago. It was a big 4-bedroom home, but she loved it. She was lovingly wiping her thimble collection in the shadow box on the wall when she noticed a hanger 2 feet over. She thought that would be a perfect place for her collector's spoon collection. A little while later, when she was doing the floor, she remembered her spoon collection was in the attic. She went up into the attic and looked around at the dozen or so boxes there. She saw 3 boxes stacked to one side that were labeled Bill's stuff and knew they weren't in those. Then she saw a box labeled knickknacks and picked it up and set it on the 3 boxes of Bill's stuff. She opened the box, and on top, wrapped in paper, was her Denim Days children collection. She had completely forgotten about them. She removed them carefully and set them aside. Under them was her spoon collection and the wall rack for them. She set it all aside and replaced the children very carefully. When she picked the box up to put it back, it caught the flap of the box below. She put the box back and then went to close the box that had accidentally opened when she caught sight of a bit of lace-trimmed cloth sticking out. She looked into the box to see what it was, and was surprised it was a skirt with a lace-trimmed ruffle. It was not her style, as she usually wore plain clothes with little or no trim. She went through the whole box, finding blouses and dresses. She wondered what that stuff was doing in a box labeled Bill's stuff. Her curiosity had arisen, so she looked in the next box. It just contained papers and some desk accessories. But in the 3rd box she found some bras, panties, slips, stockings, a garter belt, and even a pair of breast forms. She looked at the bra size, 42D. She thought that would fit Bill. She carefully replaced everything and took her spoon collection downstairs. As she was polishing the spoons, she was thinking about how in 7 years of marriage she never thought he would do something like putting on women's clothes. She thought that if he wants to wear women's clothes, maybe she should do something about it. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. She thought about how she could force the issue. It was a small town they lived near, and she worked in the Emporium, which carried everything from food to clothing to tools. They also carried bondage gear and were sometimes surprised by who bought it. While at work, she looked over the bondage gear. She saw a black 3-inch wide belt that locked on and a pair of 5-inch black heels with a locking ankle strap that would fit him. She gasped when she saw the price of the shoes, but with her 15% employee discount she reasoned it wasn't so bad. When she got home, she put the items in the closet in the bedroom next to theirs. She was going to wait for the right time to spring it on him. She wondered why that was all she had on her mind lately, but realized she'd made a major discovery and knew she had to do something about it. That night at supper, Bill said, "I've got a winner to restore now. It's an antique dresser that must have 20 coats of paint on it. The owner wants it restored to a honey oak finish. It's going to take 3 days just to get the old paint off." Serena said, "I know you can do it. Your restoration business seems to be doing pretty good. Converting the barn into a work area was a great idea." Bill said, "We were lucky all of the buildings were in such good shape. I am using the machine shed for a storage area for things I have to work on. Right now there are 2 things in there waiting for me to get at them." Serena said, "I noticed you had a hole in your jeans yesterday. What happened?" He said, "Oh, I was grabbing for a rag and caught a nail head that was sticking out. It scratched the skin, but it didn't bleed, so it was minor." After supper, Bill went out for his usual swim in the pool they had put up. Serena cleaned up the supper dishes. She thought it wouldn't be a bad idea to get an automatic dishwasher. She finished and went out to get the evening paper from the little box on the post by the driveway. She was reading the paper when he came in to take his bath. Soon he joined her wearing his pajamas and a robe. She changed sections of the paper, and as she switched them she looked at Bill. She imagined what he would look like in a nightgown and slippers. She smiled at the thought. The following Saturday morning, instead of doing her usual cleaning, she went to the attic and hauled the 2 boxes of clothes down to the bedroom next to theirs. She went through the clothes and picked out a complete outfit for him. She selected the rose dress with the white lace trim and a long line bra, a pair of panties and the nude stockings. She went downstairs and got the super glue and put it on the dresser for future use. She knew she had plenty of time, so she hung the remaining clothes in the closet and put the lingerie and stockings in a dresser drawer. Bill got home and was bubbling, as he had beaten the other 3 in his foursome. This didn't happen very often. Serena told him she was glad he had such a good game. Then she said, "There's something I have to show you. Come with me." She led him to the bedroom next to theirs. She saw him blush deeply as he saw the clothes lying on the bed. She said, "I think there is something you have to tell me. A week ago I had to go to the attic and look what I found." "How do you explain it?" He said, "It's nothing. A couple of years ago I wondered what it felt like to wear a dress. So I picked up those clothes to see. I only wore them twice and packed them away. I haven't even thought about them since." She said, "You have more than 2 changes of underwear. I think you wore them more than twice. Now, you are going to put on what I laid out so I can see how you look. So strip so we can get you ready." He protested some, but he soon saw she was serious, so he stripped. She led him into the bathroom and told him they had to get rid of all that ugly body hair. He asked why he had to get rid of it. Serena said, "You have to get rid of it because a lady doesn't want hair showing all over. You are a lady, aren't you?" He didn't answer her. She had applied lotion all over his body and carried on a line of one-sided chit-chat while it started to do its thing. Finally, he was glad to get into the shower. He was amazed at all the hair that accumulated in the shower. When he was done, she was there to hand him some lotion to rub all over his body. It smelled like flowers. She led him back to the bedroom and handed him the garter belt to put on. He hooked it in back and she thought he was pretty good at that. He must have had a lot of practice. She then handed him the stockings. He put them on without any problem and hooked the garters. She then handed him the panties. Then the bra. It took him a bit of time to get it all hooked, but he got it. She stood and watched amused at his discomfort. She then applied the super glue to the breast forms and slipped them into the cups of his bra. He was shocked that she was gluing them on him. When he asked why she glued them on, she said, "You don't want them slipping around or jumping out in public, do you?" He didn't answer. Soon he had the slip and dress on. Serena got the locking belt and put it around his waist and fastened it. Then she slipped the shoes on his feet and wrapped the ankle strap around his ankle and slid the tab into the lock. He stood there as if unable to move. Serena asked him, "What did you have on tap for today?" He said he was going to mow the lawn. She knew it would take half the afternoon to mow, as it was a large yard. She said it was lunchtime and that he should make them something to eat. When he asked why he should make lunch, she said, "I am wearing jeans and you are wearing a dress. Who looks like a homemaker the most?" He didn't answer. He went and made lunch. As they were eating, she said, "When we finish you can do the dishes. It doesn't look good for dishes to be sitting around." After they finished, he did the dishes. When they were done, he told her he was finished. His legs ached already from the heels. She told him he could do the lawn now. He said, "Dressed like this?" I can't go out dressed like this. She said, You rewrite. I know just the thing for you to wear. Come with me. She headed for the little bedroom, and when they got there she unlocked his belt and shoes. He stripped and was going to grab his undershorts, but she told him not to even think about wearing them. She came by him and told him to lift his feet. He lifted them and she pulled a bikini bottom up his legs. Soon he had the top on. She then had him put the heels back on. When he asked why he had to wear the heels, she said, You have to get used to them, and besides, the quicker you get them broken in, the better they will feel. Now go do your mowing. He was mowing on the riding lawnmower when a couple of cars whizzed by. He was relieved that they didn't even slow down. He finished with the rider and had to do the fine work with the push power mower. He was flustered when his heels sank into the ground. He had to walk on his tiptoes. It didn't take him long to finish that part, but his legs were killing him. He got the weed eater for the final trimming. This took a while as he had to use it around the trees, 2 flower beds, and the pool. When he was done, all he wanted to do was sit down and get the weight off of his feet. He went in and Serena asked him if he wanted to keep his swimsuit on. He said no, so they went to the bedroom and he was soon back in the dress. She told him he had an hour before he had to make supper, so he could clean the hair in the shower, then dust and clean their bedroom and make the bed. He resignedly went and did as she said. He wondered why he hadn't thrown those clothes out as he cleaned. He wished he could get out of those shoes. She called to him that she was going to run into town for a bit. She said she would be home in time for supper. He wondered what she needed from town, as she very seldom had to do any shopping because she usually did it at the end of her day. He finished the bedroom and went to make supper, deciding to make it a simple supper. It was cooking when Serena came home carrying 2 bags and went directly upstairs. After supper was done and he had finished the dishes, Serena asked him if he wanted to go for his usual swim. He said yes, and she unlocked his belt and shoes and told him to wear his bikini. He went and undressed, and was putting on his red bikini with bright yellow flowers when he saw he had the bikini outline on his skin. This distressed him, but he got the bikini on and headed for the pool. The swim was relaxing and enjoyable. His legs started to feel normal again. He wondered how long Serena was going to keep this dress business up. He knew with the nearest neighbor being a quarter mile down the road in either direction, he had no chance of being seen by them. But he still dreaded the thought of anyone seeing him dressed like that. When he came in, Serena told him he could keep his swimsuit on. He said he was going to take his shower. She told him to shampoo his hair good and leave it wet, then come and get her. He was in the shower and didn't hear her come into the bathroom, then leave. He finished his shower, put the swimsuit back on and went to her. She told him to come into the dining area and sit down. He saw hair rollers and hoped they weren't for him, but he soon found out they were for him. Serena rolled his hair so tight it hurt. She told him he was a big baby when he complained. She put some lotion that smelled awful on the rollers, then put a plastic bonnet over his hair. She then took 2 ice cubes and held them by his ear, and soon both ears were pierced and he had 2 studs in each ear. She waited for some time before removing the bonnet and taking out the rollers. She then brushed his hair. She did just a little trimming from time to time. Then she told him she had to put some makeup on him so he could get the full effect. Soon she had eyeliner, eyeshadow, mascara, and lipstick on him. When she held the mirror up for him to see her work, he thought he was looking at a woman. He had never thought he could look like this. She said, "The last thing you can do is thank me for all my hard work." He said, "Thank you. I know it was hard work, but we have to talk." She said, "Sure, go ahead. What do you want to talk about?" He said, "Where do you think you are going with this?" How long do you expect me to wear these clothes? Why are you doing this in the first place? She answered, I'll take your questions one at a time. I am not sure where I am going with this. I do not know how long I'll keep you in dresses. As to why I am doing it, remember you put the dresses on before I made you. I must tell you that you look good to me in a dress. I don't care for the frilly, lacy dresses, but you look natural in them. I may get some more frilly clothes for you to wear. Have you thought about becoming a woman, having the surgery? He gasped, Heavens no! I told you I just wondered what it felt like to wear a dress. She said, Well, now you are going to get your wish. You are going to wear a dress for some time, I suspect. He asked, It is not my wish? Do you expect me to work in a dress? She asked, Are you telling me you can't do any of the things you do in a dress? He said, I am not really sure, but I am used to working in jeans not wearing a skirt. She said, Well, try it. If the skirt billows too much, we'll try tighter skirts. With your legs you would look great in a mini skirt. We'll have to get you one. Have you ever worn a work apron? He said, No, I am usually very careful so I don't get stain or paint on my clothes. She said, Well, I think we'll get you a couple of work aprons. That way you will have one when you are washing the other one. He asked, You said when I am washing the other one. Are you expecting me to do the laundry now? She said, You are dressing like a woman so you can do what women normally do. I expect you will keep the house clean, do the cooking, laundry, make the bed each day, and take care of me. He said, That sounds like you are making me the maid here. What about my work? She said, How about this? Each day I'll give you something to do that won't take over an hour or two to do. When you get that done, you can go do your workout in the barn. It's either that or you'll have trouble finding an hour to do your work. He thought for a few minutes, finally saying, I guess that's all right. But working with power saws is dangerous wearing heels. Serena said, We'll get you some flats to wear while you are working in your shop. How does that sound? He said, That sounds good. She was surprised that he was accepting wearing dresses. Otherwise, why would he say it sounded good wearing flats in the shop? It was bedtime, and as they were getting ready for bed, she handed him one of her nightgowns to put on. It was tight on him, and she made a mental note to get him some nightgowns that fit. She thought about really frilly, lacy ones and smiled at that thought. The next morning after breakfast she showed him how to brush his hair so it looked nice. He had put on a yellow sundress with ruffles going up over the shoulders. She put a yellow ribbon in his hair and showed him how to put foundation on and how to do his makeup. He saw her get up and grab a purse out of the closet. He watched as she put lipstick, tissue and some other items in it. He was shocked when she put his wallet in it. She told him it was time to go. When he asked where she told him to do some shopping is where. He protested that he couldn't go out like that, but she told him he would, or she would go and he would wear whatever she got. She told him it would be much better if he came along to help select what she was going to buy for him. He finally gave in. They were in his car and she was driving. He protested that someone that they knew would see him. She told him she was going to Tungsten Mall 40 miles away. She said it was the biggest mall around and she was sure they would find everything they needed. They arrived at the mall and Bill wondered what was being given away. They had to park some distance from an entryway. By the time they were in the mall his legs were hurting. They passed 3 stores when Serena spotted a sale sign in a shoe store. She let him in and soon they had picked out 2 pair of flats, one black and a white pair. She unlocked his shoes so he could put the black ones on. Serena told him it was because he would be doing a lot of walking. When they were out of the store and walking down the aisle, she told him if he complained about anything, she would have him put the heels back on. They walked quite a distance to a discount anchor store. There she selected 4 long, very feminine nightgowns for him. He blushed when she told him she knew he would look darling in them. She led to where dresses were on sale. She found 2 that screamed femininity. She stopped by the jewelry and found a necklace, bracelet, and earring set that she grabbed. He noticed the earrings hung down at least 3 inches. She selected a woman's watch for him to wear. They then continued their shopping. She spotted a store that said it was the old-fashioned style store. She decided to check it out and was glad they did. He smiled when she found 2 work aprons for him. They both had 2 pockets. Then the smile faded as she found a white and pink pinafore-style apron for him. They left the store and headed for the food court. They were eating and she asked him if he could think of anything else he needed. He told her he only had 2 bras and 3 panties, but he had not worn one of the panties yet. She smiled, thinking, this is easier than I thought. He is helping in his own feminization. After they ate, she steered him into a store that specialized in women's underwear. She picked out 3 more bras for him. They were all long line and had steel stays in them. She thought they might be uncomfortable to wear for long, but he had to learn it wasn't all comfort wearing women's clothes. She picked out a half-dozen lacy panties for him. She saw he was blushing as she held them up for him to see. They were heading down the aisle toward the entranceway they had come in when she saw a uniform store with a big sale banner in the window. Also in the window was a black maid's dress. She got an inspiration and let him in. The saleslady quickly took them to a rack of maids' uniforms that were on sale. Serena looked the uniforms over closely. When she selected a black one, he asked why they needed something like that. Serena said, "You said yourself you thought you were going to be the maid, so all I am doing is getting you the uniform of a maid. I hear it's a man's dream to get into a maid's panties, now you can get into a maid's panties. Of course you'll be wearing them." She laughed at that remark and he blushed deep red. She selected a pink and a light lavender uniform as well. He asked why he needed 3 uniforms. She said, "The black one is for your daily work, the other 2 maybe I'll have you wear when my Wednesday night card club is at our house." He said, "You can't do that. What are they going to think?" She said, "If you're a good maid, maybe I'll give you Wednesday nights off." How does that sound? He said that sounded better. When her card club met at their house, he would usually go somewhere else until he thought they were done. A couple of times he misjudged and got home just as they were enjoying a snack before leaving. They were loaded down with packages and Serena told him it was time to take them to the car. He was glad it was over. They were headed home when Serena said, "We can't keep calling you Bill. You don't look like a Bill. What would you like to be called?" "I like the old-fashioned names, how about Faith or Hope or Prudence?" He said he didn't care what she called him. She said, "Well, Pretty, I can't see calling you Fifi, short for Faith, so you can now be Prudence." "How do you like that?" He said it was okay, he guessed. As they drove, she thought about he was a different person in a dress. He was much more submissive. She wondered how far she could go before he rebelled completely. She said, "When we get home I want you to put on your black maid's uniform. Don't forget the petticoat and the cute little cap. I just have to see you in your cute little uniform." She looked at him and saw he was blushing. She enjoyed his discomfort to a degree. She knew he was thinking of how he could get out of the predicament he found himself in. She wondered how he would handle customers when they came. She thought about letting him wear his men's clothes when customers were expected. Then she thought they never knew when someone would pull up in the yard anyway. They arrived home, and when all the things were put away, he put the black maid's uniform on. He kept the black flats on, and when he looked in the mirror to put the cap on, he was amazed at how he looked. He couldn't see anything that said man underneath. He pinned the cap to his hair to keep it in place and strung the 2 black ribbons down and back. When he went to Serena, she was amazed at how nice he looked. She said, "I may not go to work. I love to watch you in your uniform. You look so sexy, but go put a pair of black heels on. That uniform screams for heels." He went and put the heels on, and then she told him to clean the kitchen counters and the stove. She told him there was oven cleaner under the sink. He got the oven cleaner and read how to use it. He started on the oven and then got busy on the counters. When he was cleaning the stove, he noticed appliance cleaner / polish under the sink. He tried that and was amazed at how nice it turned out. Serena sat and watched him work. She was amazed at how well he was handling wearing heels. His rear swayed enticingly as he moved around. He finished and she told him to make some supper. He got busy making supper. Soon he was putting supper on the table. They were eating supper when Serena said, "You really surprise me. I thought you would fight and refuse to do anything, but you are doing whatever I ask you. I just can't believe it." He told her, "When you first put the dress on me, I thought about fighting you, then I saw you were enjoying yourself. I saw you were having fun. I didn't want to spoil your fun. Then it became kind of fun for me. I would really like to wear men's clothes, but if my wearing dresses makes you happy, then I'll wear them. I loved you when I married you, and that love has grown. If I didn't love you, I would have been out of these clothes yesterday." Serena, with tears in her eyes, said, "You shock me with your answer. I never thought you would go this far just for me. I will get some solvent to remove your breasts tomorrow when I'm at work, then you can wear men's clothes." He said, "Why? We got all those new clothes for me and they won't fit you. Why waste them?" They both laughed and she wondered what she did to get such a wonderful husband.